I am Ross Hero, and on this episode, this unicycle session, we are talking profit first. So this is ordinarily a marketing podcast, but we're going a little off script because on this unicycle session episode, we're talking accounting, finance, and this hybrid thing called profit first. And to talk with me about that is someone who is definitely more of a subject matter expert than I am. That is Tara Johnson of North Bay Bookkeeping. Tara, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, I don't know if I need to say, full disclosure, Tara is my bookkeeper. I don't know why I would need to say that, but I have said it right now. So so you don't plan on talking about my actual P&L statements on this episode, right? Just so I am sure that wasn't what we had discussed.
I wasn't planning on it because you were paid in full. All my invoices, nothing's delinquent.
Fantastic. That's good to know that you could hold me hostage if you wanted to. So
I have power.
There you go. So we're going to talk all about this thing that is called profit first. But first, in 3 sentences or less, Tara, tell me a little bit about your business. Tell the listeners about your business and what you do.
Well, the boring answer is I'm a bookkeeper. The fun answer is I help bring peace of mind, security, and reduce stress for my clients. I help them understand their financial story.
And that is, again, as my bookkeeper, as Tricycle Creative's bookkeeper, yes, I can confirm that to be the case. When I came to Tara, luckily I don't have a story where, my books were in the disorder and I was in debt and blah, 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 blah. I got to her, I guess you could say, before that happened, before that could happen, or she stopped it from happening. What I really wanted was, and I think this is very common of many business owners, is I wanted clarity and understanding of my financials. And that's critical of any business of any size.
Yes. And what happens, so many business owners are so busy running their business. It's easy to kind of like ignore the piles of papers or the bank statements that need to be reviewed and reconciled. And they just put it off until, their CPA calls and wants a meeting.
Or until it's tax time.
Right.
And that's when it becomes this, you have this mountain of papers and all this stuff. And so you have been fantastic to really help me understand my numbers even before I came to you with this harebrained thing called profit first. And I don't remember exactly the order. If I came to you, you came to me. We're in the same networking group. So I think maybe we had, it was brought up in conversation. So do you want to talk about what is this profit first thing?
Profit first, I describe as a CAF methodology or a cash management methodology system. And it's a very simple methodology based on the old envelopes system. And some people may remember their parents or grandparents using that system where, like my dad, had a paycheck, and when he'd cash the paycheck and he would put, a part of that in, the mortgage envelope, and part of it into groceries and part of it into insurance, and just broke it up. And so, when my mom went to go do the grocery shopping, she could open that envelope and she knew how much money she had to spend.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like I read the book. There is a certification, correct?
Correct.
For this, and you are certified.
Yes.
I was one of your test subjects on that, right?
Yes.
I feel like we did a lot of experimentation again. When I came
Yeah.
I felt like it's always like this Doc Brown thing, like my hair is wild, and I'm like, I have this idea. It's called profit first. And you're like, oh God. But yeah, I feel like it's the envelope system somewhat evolved, right?
Yes.
And the evolution of it is when not only the envelope system, but it's about what the envelopes are, and it's about almost like prioritizing, if you will, the envelopes, one envelope in particular, which is paying yourself. And
Hmm.
then the second envelope kind of is like this OpEx, right? What's good? Like, cause he has a basic, the author of this, or the creator author of this is Mike Michalowicz.
Yes.
It's a great book. Recommend you read it. Tricycle Creative. We are doing this profit first thing. So I know about it firsthand, and you definitely know about it firsthand being a certified administrator of it. But there's some basic envelopes, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about
Yes.
those?
There's 5 foundational accounts: profit, tax, income, owner's comp, and OpEx. That is those are the 5 foundational. And then depending on the priorities of the business, additional accounts may be opened. So I have a client who, every couple of years she has to buy some, expensive pieces of equipment. So we have a percentage of revenue going to that other account for equipment. So, when she does have to replace that piece, she either can buy it outright and save money from financing, or if she can't pay the whole thing, at least she might have like 60 or 80% to put down on it, which is going to give her some negotiating room. So it just kind of depends on the priorities and the outlook of the business, and so you make it work for you.
And this is also it kind of grows, or again evolves, from when you start to as you progress through.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I don't ever do everything, or I don't ever do anything like the exact way it's supposed to be. So you just keep me honest here. But the one thing that I do is you adjust your numbers. So you have those foundational envelopes, and you put a certain percentage based off of Mike's this profit first system,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but also based off kind of like where you start from, right? Your starting
Absolutely.
numbers, right? So you can grow into this.
Right.
So that's definitely what I have done, and I think what most people have to do. They have to grow into this, but quarterly you kind of like adjust your percentages. So the
Correct.
percentage going into OpEx, the percentage going into this, the percentage going into that. So you can, it's kind of like a steady movement into this, right?
It is, because for, for a business that might be never have shown a profit, it's going to be really hard to start taking, your target allocation percentage for profit, maybe 15%. Well, if you've never been profitable, how the heck are you going to start putting aside, 15% of your revenue into that account? Like that's, you're gonna like collapse from just the idea of it. So you start off with maybe 1%,
Yep.
and for the first quarter, maybe you were only putting aside 1% into profit. But guess what? That's profit. That's your first step. So
and that works kind of well, because if you are just either starting this system or starting a business, again, it kind of grows with you.
right.
And I think, just to take a step back, I will say that I think we somewhat have buried the lead in what profit first is about. And fundamentally, it is about the importance of business owners paying themselves, right?
Right.
That the reason why businesses fail, the reason why people become resentful of their businesses, is because they keep putting money into it and they never stop to actually reward or pay themselves for the work they're doing.
Correct.
And so again, we buried the lead because that is the thing. That is the
Yeah.
whole impetus of this system, right? Is
Yeah.
so that as a business owner, manager, whatever, you're actually paying yourself. You're not forgetting about the you because you are the most important component to the business.
Yeah, you're the most valuable employee.
Yeah.
Who else will work for you day in, day out, 24/7 and not expect to get paid, a
Exactly.
day off, a vacation, all of that.
All
And
the
it's,
stress,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So how is this? This is relatively new. I would even say profit first. It feels like it's really trendy right now. And I don't say trendy with a bad stank on it. People always assume when you say trendy, it's like, oh no. It's like, no.
Leg
There
warmers.
you go. Yeah. Yeah. This is not slap bracelets or pogs or things of that. This is not,
Right.
this is, it just seems to be getting this real groundswell. I think because we have so many, such this also groundswell of contractors and entrepreneurs right now. But obviously this is kind of a new system. How is this different from the more traditional or more traditional budget or accounting methods?
That's a great question because what I do in my business is really it tells the story of like what happened in the life of a business, the financial story of everything that happened from yesterday and beyond, and it's not often forward thinking. So what Profit First offered me and a service to my clients is really a plan of how to be profitable, how to take a paycheck, and it's forward thinking. And so, you know, with Profit First, you're not worried about being GAAP compliant. That is, that's for your bookkeeper and your CPA to worry about. That's not for you as the business owner to worry about.
And what is just for what is GAAP?
Oh, sorry.
That's
Generally
okay.
accepted accounting principles. It is, the basis of what at least CPA does,
Sure.
following those rules. You don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
It doesn't work for running a business.
And I think this is where even, our business, Tricycle Creative, and even myself, I guess by extension, being somewhat of a guinea pig this year, is that you and I have had these long conversations and wrestled with that, right? Because I am maybe to a fault, right-brained and left-brained. I think if I took a test, I'd be equally balanced, right? So
Yeah.
I like seeing a P&L. I like things based off GAAP, but at the same time, I like kind of foundationally or philosophically this idea of profit first, of being able to pay myself first, take care of myself, and by extension, I guess my family, that kind of thing. Right. So we've had those long conversations. Do you
Yes.
have those with other people who are jumping into this, having used, GAAP, these generally kind of accepted other methods?
I do in a different way. Like most of my clients, their books are not quite as tidy and as yours are.
Star.
Like when I get when I inherit them or get involved, they just and it's because so many of them are just overwhelmed by running their business, and so things have slipped through the cracks. It's often, especially with my construction clients, that their wives are doing the books,
or mothers,
or mothers,
whoever.
absolutely.
And that is not, before you attack me gender wise, this is not, we're not saying this as a gender stereotype. We are literally basing this in fact. I know many people, this is the situation. It's the significant other, the someone else that they may not even be paying. Again, getting back to
Absolutely.
It's just that person's more organized or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, for whatever their arrangement is, it just is often, with my clients at least, the guy. It's just a guy, and
To just really put people's at ease. If you're feeling like that was a sexist thing to say, well, let me flip it and say, Tara did not say, nor has she ever thought of a case where there's a woman entrepreneur that gave the books to her husband, because that's a fool's errand. No woman would make that mistake and give the books to the husband. So there, we've balanced out. Okay, we've balanced out the potential sexist stereotypes that really were not a factor, but now they're balanced in a traditional Gap way. The books are now balanced when it comes to stereotypes and sexism on this episode of TriPod. So
thank you for that disclaimer there.
Great disclaimer. Let's talk about biggest challenges. So let's say I am Joe Schmo.
Okay.
I'm not Ross Hero. I'm Joe Schmo, and I'm interested in this profit first thing. What are the challenges, or what are maybe even the warnings, or the things that the biggest challenges coming into a profit first system?
Okay. To get your rollout plan for profit first, it needs to be based on good numbers. So if your books are a mess, they need to get cleaned up first. Because otherwise it's just a plan that's based on garbage is just going to be
more garbage.
Yeah.
We have the same thing on a marketing perspective. I mean, we come in and do marketing with people. It's the same thing. We have to lay foundation.
Right.
Yeah.
So clean books is number one. Number two is getting the right bank. Oftentimes bankers, for a reason I don't understand, they're resistant to open up multiple checking accounts for one of their customers, and they'll push back. I don't understand that. I don't know if it's obnoxious. It is absolutely obnoxious, and it's like, what? You don't want to help me succeed? You don't want to be a team player? I'm trying to, let you, Mr. or Mrs. Banker, hold on to more money so that I'm a better customer for you. And you're being resistant to me by not, making it easy for me to open up my 5 foundational accounts. Makes no sense.
So just on that note, do you typically, I know mine's in Capital One.
Yep.
They don't give a whoop. You can open up 5,000 accounts with Capital One. Almost to a fault.
Yeah. You could, the story that I've gotten with Capital One is you are allowed six free, 6 free checking accounts. I don't know why 6, but 6 works for me because with Profit First, I need 5. Right.
Got it. Okay.
So that's a good one. Another good local bank I have where we are is BB&T. The banker that I'm working with actually, I can't remember if he has read Profit First, but he understands Profit First and supports it. So that's so finding the right bank or banker really makes that step so much easier. Because nothing's more disheartening when having a conversation with my client and say, okay, today's open bank account day. They go to the bank and the banker's like, no, sorry, we're not going to do that for you. That's stupid.
Well, they shoot it down based only off of that they don't want to or can't open 5 accounts. Right. Yeah. Not knowing the system. Like, that sounds crazy. It's like, but you don't know. Like, you don't know how crazy this is, or really not crazy it is. You're just resistant because of the fact that you can't or won't open these multiple accounts. Right. So then, okay, so those are, are there any other biggies that people know? So you need to have clean books, or at least know coming in, you're going to have to get your books cleaned.
Yeah.
You're going to need to have an account, bank at a place where you can have multiple accounts, or at least set up multiple accounts, which it sounds like you can help people with that if they're interested in that also. Absolutely. But that's something you need to know. Anything else that people should know coming into a trying to start with Profit First?
Don't start too big. Don't expect that you're going to be able to, put 15% of revenue into profit, and 10% into tax, and owner's comp, whatever your percentage is, maybe it's 25%, and then don't expect that you're going to instantly be able to hit those target allocation percentages from day one. It's not going to happen, especially if you weren't profitable to begin with. So really look at your, the rollout plan that that your Profit First professional creates for you.
We talked about it. It's an evolution. You have to do a couple laps. It's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to Profit First.
Right.
And I can say that's true for me and of us working together on this too. 6 months in, I was frustrated as all hell, and finally I had a light bulb go off. And now at the time of this recording, at the end of essentially my second year, my numbers are very healthy, and knock on wood. So I think that Profit First has absolutely been an integral part in that. And I think particularly from a relatively new company like Tricycle Creative is understanding operating expenses. That's been a biggie, getting those under control. And I think that is the most illuminating thing about this for the first time, is that when people really start to understand their OpEx, that it can sometimes be disheartening, mind-blowing, and frustrating or scary and sad. All those things into one thing, right? So who should use Profit First and who shouldn't use Profit First?
I think everybody should use Profit First. I cannot imagine a company that would not benefit from the system. There's really, it's not based on dollar amount. There are companies, 50 million, I think even there's reports of 100 or 200 million in revenue that are using Profit First.
So Profit First scales.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Okay. That was one thing, that I was always curious about, if this scales at a level where books get infinitely more complex and complicated. You have maybe even hundreds of employees or 100 employees.
Right.
And you have this and this and and maybe you even have governmental standards and regulations. You have actually been to I don't know if the conventions are the right word, but like big meetings around this Profit First thing. So it sounds like you have definitely heard firsthand that this is being done at scale.
Right.
Interesting.
It is. And I would, I'm not going to say that I'm the person to take, Ford Motor Company into Profit First.
Sure.
I'd like to get a few more implementations under my belt before that. But
it can be done.
It can be done. And there are Profit First professionals that can do that, that have that background, that experience, that's, that credibility to do it. That's not my target client. At least not today.
Well, I plan on being, I don't know if it would be a good thing or bad thing at this point, the way the automotive industry is, if I plan to pull in the numbers that Ford's pulled. I don't know. I don't know I don't know the condition of the American automotive industry, but I'm sure they still are doing better than Tricycle Creative is going to be my guess. I would hope.
Well, they had a couple $1 billion bailout, so I don't know. I think Tricycle Creative might be a little bit more profitable than they are.
How do I get, this is off topic, but how do I get one of them $1 billion bailouts? I'm ready with notes. So whenever, what do I have to, is that an email or is that like a fax? Or
maybe we should do a poll or a campaign with the listeners. Like,
my mom can only give so much, Tara, okay? I don't know why you would. I'm really bankrupting her with this bailout for me. So is there anything else that we didn't talk about or that you think is important or you'd like to address around or about Profit First?
I think that people should check it out. There's tons of free resources. You can go on MikeMcAllowitz.com, and he is so generous with the free information and tools. You can even get, I think it's the first 2 chapters of the book free. You can just go on the website and download it and kind of learn a little bit about it. You can do a self-assessment on your business. The free tools and guide are there on the website. And then I really think if people read it and, try and do the assessment, they're gonna see it. They're gonna see how it's going to, or that how it can impact their business in a positive way. And then from there, if they're ready to make the commitment, they can go on and find a Profit First professional either in their area if they want to do a face-to-face sit-down, or, they can, do a search and get a match of getting connected with a Profit First professional like me.
You're now listed on that. Is that correct?
I am.
That's awesome. Tara Johnson, and it's North Bay Bookkeeping. And let me just say, like, the book in paperback, it's like probably like $12. Kindle, it's probably like $10, right?
Right.
So we're not talking about, and it's kind of a quick read.
It is.
And it's a surprisingly easy read.
Right.
I mean, to the point where even if you're a little confused, you can roll through that book twice quickly. Yeah. It's not and that's kind of the beauty of this system too. It's in its simplicity.
It is. You understand it. I mean, there is, it's a new habit, so that there are challenges. It's like going on a diet. It's not you understand it. You understand, okay, eat less, eat better food, and exercise. In simple terms, you get it. Executing it is not always the easiest.
Sure.
So that's a huge reason of getting a professional to be by your side. But you understand when you read the book, you get where it's going.
Yeah.
It's easy to pick up. And depending on what industry you're in, there's a few specific editions. So one I work closely with is Profit First for Contractors, and that was written by Sean Van Dyke. And I have not read yet Profit First for E-commerce. That's by Cindy Thomason. So if you're in those industries, go ahead and pick up that industry specific book, and that will get you the foundation.
And there's some little things even in the Profit First book about industry specific considerations, right? So again, if you are in an industry that has a very high cost of supplies or contractor labor or these variables, and he walks you through not only the alterations you may need to make, but the things to think about in the consideration. So recommend the book. Again, it's Profit First by Mike McAllowitz. And if you need help or want help administering this for your business, Tara, where can they find you? How can they find you? Fire away.
Okay. You can email me at tara@northbaybookkeeping.com. You can go to my website, northbaybookkeeping.com. You can Google Profit First, and that will take you to obviously Profit First, and find a Profit First professional, and that will take you to the directory. And one thing I can say about the group that I belong to are the most open, giving, generous people. If you are stuck and just have a question, reach out to somebody. They will help you. They won't, say, well, let me send you a contract and give me a $2,500 retainer. They're just like, let me help you, because all of us are just vested in success of entrepreneurs. We've all struggled.
And I think that's the good thing about this being, as I said before, trendy right now, that a lot of people are excited about it and using it and seeing that it's working. So again, trendy does not need to have a stank on it. Like I say that in that it's trendy and it's growing in popularity. And so you're able to get more resources, more, more help from these profit first professionals like Tara, who, again, she managed Tricycle Creative's books. And I can tell you there were many meetings we had where, my right brain was activating when my left brain should have, or vice versa when it came to profit first. And she helped to rectify this for me in my head, but also we use QuickBooks. So that inside of QuickBooks, which Tara is also a certified, what's your title in QuickBooks?
I am
Jedi Master. Sith. I don't remember exactly what it was. What is it?
I am a certified pro advisor. I'm an elite level QuickBooks certified pro advisor. There we go.
If you use QuickBooks, if you want to get started with profit first, again, I highly recommend Tara. So one more time, Tara, before we jump off of this unicycle session all about profit first, where can they find you one last time?
northbaybookkeeping.com.
There we go. And we will have all this information and more, as always, on tripodpodcast.com. Show notes, information, links to Tara, all that good stuff. And please, if this is the first time that you have heard my voice on TriPod, the Tricycle Creative Marketing Podcast, I encourage you to please subscribe, like. We are in everywhere, every place that you could even consume podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts. We're all over the joint. We'd love it if you subscribed, and we'd love it if you follow us on our socials at Hello Tricycle. So until next time, we will see you, and I encourage you to keep pedaling.